Thank you. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that taking into consideration the findings of the Select Committee of the National Government Constituency Development Fund and its report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as members of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Board laid on the table of this House on the 14th of September 2023 and pursuant to Section 15(1)(e) of the National Government Constituency Development Fund Act 2015 and Section 8(1) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as members of the National Constituency Development Fund. 1. Honorable Olago Oluoch, CBS. Honorable Janet Teya. Senator Matsitsa Naomi Shionga. Mr. Speaker, as the members were sent to you by the Minister for Treasury, you forwarded the same names and committed the Committee of National Government Constituency Development Fund to do the vetting. Mr. Speaker, we've gone through all the required provisions in terms of advertising on anybody who had issues with the three names. And Mr. Speaker, when the time that was on the 5th, which the time which lapsed for or ended for provision of the petitions, we had no memorandum against the three. And therefore, Mr. Speaker, we went ahead and vetted the three members. And Mr. Speaker, having known, and by all members, the Honorable Olago Oluoch, who is a lawyer and a three-term member of the National Assembly, with all his credentials, Mr. Speaker, the committee agreed that he was fit, and also providing the necessary documentation of the EACC and DCI and all other required documents. Mr. Speaker, we came to the conclusion to approve. Honorable Janet Marania Teya has served this House for 2 terms, one as a nominated women representative of Kajiado, and again nominated to this House. Mr. Speaker, Teya has been in the community circles and has worked for the community in various areas, and she has all the knowledge and expertise to be able to deal with the work of Ngcdf. Mr. Speaker, we saw her qualified to take up the position. The third one, Mr. Speaker, is Senator Matsitsa Naomi Shionga, who was a nominated senator in Parliament. Mr. Speaker, Naomi has a master's degree in health informatics and is qualified and is able to be a member of the board, having known or worked in the grassroots in terms of the health sector and also in many developmental community work. The candidate, Honorable Matsitsa Naomi, was approved by the members of the committee. Mr. Speaker, I beg to move, and I ask Honorable Kasim Tandaza to second.
Mheshimiwa Tandaza. Give him the mic.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. The Ngcdf board, Honorable Speaker, is such an important board for all of us here in this House. It is so important given that our existence out there definitely depends on the board in terms of facilitating our funds to our constituencies and to our people. It is over a year that this board has not been properly constituted since the other 3 members whose terms had lapsed and one who resigned. We were left with only the civil servants seconded from the different line ministries. It is high time that we approve these 3 members who are qualified for the job so that the Ngcdf board can be properly constituted. We all know that the Ngcdf is facing a myriad of problems, especially in the legal battles before it. We also know that we have quite a number of legislative proposals that will be before the House, some undergoing public participation, just to align it to the 2010 Constitution and other acts of Parliament. It is through this board that we hope we shall be able to achieve all this so that we can have Ngcdf functioning for eternity. For those few remarks, Honorable Speaker, I support.
You second?
I second.
Thank you, Honorable Tandaza. Honorable members, I now propose the question, which is that taking into consideration the findings of the Select Committee on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund in its report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as members of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 14 September 2023, and pursuant to Section 15(1)(e) of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Act 2015 and Section 8(1) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as members of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board. 1. Honorable Olago Alwoch, CBS. 2. Honorable Janet Teyia. And 3. Ms. Masisa Naomi Shionga. You put the question? There having been no debate, Honorable Pukose, there's nothing for the mover to reply. So we can only put the question. Honorable members, I'll put the question to order number 11, which is that, taking into consideration the findings of the Select Committee on the National Government Constituencies Development Fund, in its report on the vetting of nominees for appointment as members of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board, laid on the table of the House on Thursday, 14 September 2023, and pursuant to Section 15(1)(e) of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Act 2015 and Section 8(1) of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2011, this House approves the appointment of the following persons as members of the National Government Constituencies Development Fund Board. 1. Honorable Olago Alwoch, CBS. 2. Honorable Janet Teyia. And 3. Ms. Masisa Naomi Shionga. As members of that opinion say aye. Aye. Will those of the contrary opinion say nay? The ayes have it. Honorable members, as I had directed earlier, we'll skip order number 12 and go to order number 13. We'll come back to order number 12 thereafter.
Order number 13, motion, consideration of the memorandum by the National Treasury and Economic Planning on action plans to revive and commercialize state-owned sugar companies.
Thank you.